No one is coming to help you. And that's not a disadvantage. That's the moment everything changes. Because the second you realize there is no backup, no safety net, no one to rely on, something in you shifts. You stop expecting, you stop explaining, you stop waiting. And for the first time, you start seeing reality without distortion. Most people never reach this point. They stay dependent. They rely on support, approval, and reassurance to move forward. And because of that, every decision they make is influenced by others. That is control, just not in their hands. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this clearly. Power does not belong to the supported. It belongs to the one who can operate without needing anyone at all. Because the man who needs nothing cannot be manipulated through anything. In this video, you'll see why having zero support is not a weakness. Why isolation forces a level of clarity most people avoid. And how being alone creates a form of power that others can't compete with. Pay attention, because if you understand this fully, you stop seeing loneliness as a problem and start seeing it as your greatest advantage. Number 1, the isolation shock. Why having no one forces you to see reality clearly. When support disappears, the illusion collapses. There's no one left to reassure you, no voice to soften reality, no safety net to distort consequences. Everything becomes sharp, clear, unfiltered. That's the shock most men try to escape, because it strips away comfort they didn't even realize they depended on. Advice, encouragement, backup, all gone. And what remains is something most avoid their entire lives. Truth without protection. This is where the shift begins. In isolation, you stop negotiating with reality. You stop telling yourself things will work out because someone said so. You stop waiting for help, approval, or alignment. Every outcome becomes directly tied to your decisions. That level of exposure is brutal, but it is also precise. Niccolo Machiavelli's philosophy was built on seeing the world as it is, not as it should be. Power begins when perception is no longer softened by comfort. When nothing stands between you and consequence, your thinking sharpens automatically. Because now, mistakes cost you directly, and clarity replaces illusion. Watch what happens internally. Without support, excuses lose value. You can't blame, delay, or justify in the same way. Every weakness becomes visible. Every bad decision becomes undeniable. And that forces adaptation, immediately. Most men never reach this point because they are buffered by others. Family, friends, systems, all acting as filters between them and reality. Those filters protect them, but they also blind them. Remove the filter, and everything changes. You begin to see people differently, not through emotion, but through behavior. You recognize who shows up, who disappears, and who was never real to begin with. That awareness cuts deep, but it removes confusion permanently. Now decisions become cleaner. You stop relying on belief and start relying on evidence. You stop expecting fairness and start preparing for outcomes. You stop hoping and start calculating. That is where advantage forms. Because the man who sees reality without distortion operates at a level others cannot reach. He is not distracted by comfort or controlled by expectation. He moves based on what is true, not what feels right. Over time, that clarity compounds. Situations become easier to read. People become easier to predict. Outcomes become easier to shape. Because nothing is hidden from you anymore. And once you reach that state, you don't need support to survive. You use reality itself as your advantage. Number 2, the dependency death. How losing support eliminates your biggest weakness. Support doesn't just help you, it weakens you in ways you don't notice. Because the moment you know someone is there, something in your behavior changes. Not dramatically, not obviously, but enough to shift your decisions. You take risks differently. You delay action. You tolerate situations you should cut off. Why? Because you're not fully exposed. There's always something behind you. A fallback, a cushion, a place where consequences don't hit as hard. That subtle protection becomes your biggest vulnerability. You start depending without calling it dependence. You convince yourself you're independent, but your decisions are still influenced by what you can fall back on. That influence shapes everything quietly. It makes you slower, less decisive, less dangerous. Niccolo Machiavelli viewed reliance as a structural weakness. The moment your position depends on anything outside your control, that thing owns a piece of your outcome. It doesn't need to act against you. Its existence is enough to limit you. That is the real problem. Because dependency doesn't just hold you back, it defines how far you can go. Once support disappears, that entire structure collapses immediately. There is no longer anything absorbing impact, no external layer softening mistakes, no secondary option waiting behind your decisions. Everything lands on you. At first it feels like loss, like you've been stripped of something valuable. But what actually disappears is limitation, because now there is nothing influencing your decisions except reality itself. No safety thinking, no fallback calculations, no hidden hesitation. That changes how you move. Your decisions become sharper, not because you want them to, but because they have to be. You can't afford confusion. You can't afford delay. Every move carries full weight, and that pressure forces precision. Most people stay protected, and that protection keeps them controlled. They never develop full ownership, because something else is always partially responsible. But when dependency dies, ownership becomes absolute, and absolute ownership creates something rare. You stop adjusting your actions based on what you might lose. You start acting based on what must be done. That shift removes hesitation completely, because there is nothing left to rely on, which means there is nothing left that can weaken you. Drop no dependence in the comments if you felt this shift, and subscribe if you're building without anyone behind you. Number 3, the self-reliance shift. Why being alone rewires how you make decisions. Decisions transform when there's no one left to consult. Because the moment external voices disappear, something deeper is forced to activate. There is no second opinion to delay you, no reassurance to stabilize you, no external perspective to soften the weight of your choices. That absence creates pressure, not emotional pressure, cognitive pressure. You are no longer distributing responsibility. You are carrying it entirely. Every choice, every outcome, every consequence traces back to one point: you. At first, this feels unstable. Not because you lack capability, but because you've been conditioned to share the burden of decision-making, to compare, to confirm, to hesitate until something feels certain. Remove that structure, and hesitation becomes expensive. You can't afford prolonged doubt. You can't afford endless analysis. The longer you delay, the more you risk. So something changes. You begin deciding faster, not recklessly, but directly, because there is no alternative. Niccolo Machiavelli emphasized that true authority does not come from consensus. It comes from the ability to decide in isolation, without needing agreement. The one who relies on others to validate his direction is already limited by their perception. That limitation disappears when you stand alone. Your thinking becomes sharper, not because you want it to, but because it has to be. You strip away unnecessary complexity. You stop entertaining weak options. You focus only on what moves you forward. Everything becomes functional. Every decision serves a purpose. Every action has intent. Most men never reach this level because they avoid the discomfort that creates it. They stay surrounded by input, constantly influenced, constantly adjusting, never fully committing to their own judgment. That keeps them safe and controlled. But when that layer is gone, something else emerges. You begin trusting your own process. Not blindly, not emotionally, but through repetition. You make a decision, observe the result, refine the next move. That loop builds precision. Because now, experience replaces opinion. You are no longer guessing, you are learning in real time, without interference. That is where independence becomes real, not as an idea, but as a system. A system where your decisions are no longer shaped by external influence. And once that system is in place, you stop asking what others would do. You start executing what you already know must be done. Number 4, the emotional cutoff. How isolation kills your need for validation. Approval feels harmless until you realize how much it controls you. Not in obvious ways, in small adjustments, in subtle compromises, in decisions that look like your own, but aren't. Because the moment you care about how you're seen, you start shaping your behavior around it. You hold back what you really think. You soften what you really want. You adjust your actions just enough to stay accepted. That adjustment costs more than you think. It drains your edge. When you're isolated, that entire mechanism begins to break. Not slowly, abruptly. There's no audience to impress, no reaction to chase, no approval to secure. And without that feedback loop, something unusual happens. You stop performing. At first it feels empty, like something is missing. That urge to be noticed, to be recognized, to be validated. It doesn't disappear instantly, it lingers. It pushes you to seek it elsewhere. But when there's nowhere to get it, it dies. Niccolo Machiavelli understood that dependence on approval is a hidden chain. The one who needs to be accepted can be controlled through acceptance. Praise can guide him. Rejection can weaken him. That control disappears when validation loses value. Because once you no longer need to be seen a certain way, no one can manipulate how you move. This is where the shift becomes powerful. You begin acting without considering perception. Not recklessly, but honestly. You say what aligns with your objective, not what maintains your image. You move based on outcome, not reaction. That creates a different presence. Unfiltered, uninfluenced. Most men never reach this point. They remain tied to how they're perceived. They adjust, constantly trying to maintain approval from people who don't control their outcomes anyway. That keeps them limited. Because every decision passes through a filter that weakens it. But when that filter is removed, your behavior becomes direct. No unnecessary adjustments, no image management, no wasted energy on how things look. Everything becomes aligned with what actually matters. That alignment creates clarity, and clarity removes hesitation. Because there is nothing left to protect, no image to maintain, no approval to chase, only direction. And once that becomes your default, you stop asking how you're being seen. You start focusing only on where you're going. Number 5, the hidden freedom. Why no expectations give you unlimited movement. Expectations rarely just come from others. They sit in your head, shaping every move before you even make it. What you should do, how you should act, what result is acceptable. And without realizing it, you start operating inside those boundaries. That's the limitation. When people expect something from you, your behavior adjusts to meet it. When you expect something from yourself, your decisions narrow around that outcome. You begin forcing direction instead of seeing opportunity. Everything becomes constrained. Isolation removes that structure completely. No expectations from others. No pressure to maintain a certain image. No predefined path you feel obligated to follow. At first, this feels unstable, like you've lost direction. Because you're no longer operating within a fixed frame. There's no script, no clear role, no predictable path. But that instability hides something powerful. Freedom, not the kind people talk about, the kind that removes limits. Niccolo Machiavelli's philosophy revolves around adaptability. The man who is not bound by expectation can shift faster than anyone around him. He is not locked into one identity, one role, or one predictable pattern. That unpredictability creates advantage. Because when you are not expected to act a certain way, you can act in ways others don't anticipate. You can change direction without resistance. You can take opportunities without hesitation. Nothing is holding you in place. Most men never experience this. They live inside expectations their entire lives. Family, society, peers, all shaping how they think they should move. That structure feels stable, but it limits everything, because every decision must fit inside that framework. When that framework disappears, something shifts. You stop thinking about what is acceptable. You start thinking about what is effective. That change rewires how you operate. You become fluid, not fixed. You adapt to situations without needing consistency in appearance. You take actions based on outcome, not perception. You move without carrying the weight of expectation behind you. That is where movement becomes unlimited, because nothing is restricting your options. No role to maintain, no image to protect, only opportunity. And once you start operating from that position, your actions stop being predictable. They start becoming strategic. Leave a like and comment no limits if you've cut off every dependency. Number 6, the ruthless clarity. How struggle removes illusions about people. People don't reveal themselves when life is easy. They reveal themselves when things become difficult for you. That's when the mask drops. Not because they choose to show you the truth, but because pressure exposes what was always there. Struggle changes how you see people, not emotionally, structurally. When everything is stable, it's easy to believe in loyalty, support, and connection. Words sound genuine, actions feel aligned. You assume consistency because you haven't seen the opposite yet. But pressure rewrites that perception. The moment your situation becomes unstable, behavior around you begins to shift. Responses slow down, energy changes, priorities reveal themselves, and what you once believed starts to collapse. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this dynamic clearly. People are consistent only when it benefits them. Remove the benefit, and consistency disappears. That is the reality most avoid, because it's uncomfortable to accept. You want to believe people will stay the same. You want to believe support is stable. You want to believe loyalty is fixed. But struggle tests all of it, and most of it fails. This is where clarity becomes ruthless. You begin to see patterns you ignored before. Who disappears when there is nothing to gain? Who hesitates when support requires effort? Who only stays present when conditions are easy? None of this is random. It is structure being revealed. Most men resist this realization. They try to justify it, explain it, soften it. They create reasons to protect their previous beliefs. But that only delays understanding. The man who accepts it gains something different: accuracy. He stops assuming loyalty. He stops expecting consistency. He stops building his decisions around people who have already shown their limits. That shift changes everything, because now you are no longer operating based on illusion. You are operating based on reality. And reality does not mislead you. It shows exactly what is there, without adjustment, without emotion, without bias. This clarity is not comfortable. It removes false security. It forces you to see people as they are, not as you hoped they would be. But that discomfort is where strength forms. Because once illusions are gone, your decisions become sharper. Your expectations become controlled. Your focus becomes precise. You stop wasting energy on people who were never aligned with you. And once that shift is complete, you don't get surprised anymore. You see people clearly, before they even reveal themselves. Number 7, the internal authority. Why you stop asking and start deciding. Authority never arrives from outside. It forms the moment you stop looking outward. Most men are trained to ask before they act. Not directly, but through habits. They check reactions, read signals, measure approval, and then decide. It feels responsible. It feels controlled. But it creates dependence, because every decision is influenced before it is made. When you remove everyone from the equation, that structure collapses. There is no reaction to read, no guidance to wait for, no external signal to confirm direction. That silence forces a shift. You are no longer aligning with others. You are choosing without reference. At first, there is no reassurance attached to your decisions. No indication that you are right. No external correction waiting to adjust your path. Just you and the outcome. Niccolo Machiavelli understood that true command begins when a man relies on his own judgment without needing confirmation. The one who seeks agreement before acting is already limiting his reach, because agreement creates boundaries. When you stop asking, those boundaries disappear. Your decisions no longer pass through filters. They are not shaped by how others think, what others expect, or what others approve. They come directly from your own assessment. That directness creates speed. You no longer delay. You no longer hesitate. You no longer dilute your choices trying to make them acceptable. You decide, and you move. Most men stay in a constant loop of checking, adjusting, and waiting. They believe they are being careful, but they are actually avoiding full responsibility. Because asking distributes weight. Deciding alone concentrates it. That concentration changes how you operate. You become sharper, more decisive, more committed to your direction. Because there is no one else involved. Every outcome belongs to you completely. That level of ownership builds something rare. You stop questioning whether you should act. You focus only on how to act effectively. The hesitation disappears. The doubt fades faster. And your movements become cleaner, more direct, more aligned with what actually matters. Over time, this creates a presence that others recognize immediately, not through words, but through behavior. You don't ask, you don't wait, you don't look around for confirmation. You decide, and once that becomes your default, no one else has control over your direction anymore. Comment stand alone, and if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Number 8. The silent growth phase. Why your best progress happens unseen. Growth is not always look like progress. In fact, the most important phase looks like nothing is happening at all. No recognition, no visible results, no external confirmation that anything is working. From the outside, it appears stagnant. But internally, something is being built. Most men fail here. Not because they lack ability, but because they rely on visible feedback to stay consistent. They need signs, validation, acknowledgement that their effort is producing something. Without that, they lose direction. They stop. This is where separation happens, because the phase where nothing is visible is the phase where everything is forming. When you operate alone, this becomes unavoidable. There is no audience tracking your progress. No one observing your effort. No one reinforcing your direction. It's just repetition. Quiet, consistent, unseen repetition. Niccolo Machiavelli's principles emphasize preparation before exposure. Strength is not built in public view. It is developed in isolation, refined without interruption, and revealed only when it is already complete. That is the difference most miss. They want to show growth while it is happening. They want recognition before results exist. That need exposes them too early, because unfinished progress invites judgment, distraction, and interference. The man who understands this avoids all of it. He builds without announcing. He improves without displaying. He sharpens his position without drawing attention to it. That silence protects the process. No pressure from outside opinions. No distractions from unnecessary feedback. No interference from people who don't understand the direction. Everything remains controlled. And because of that, development becomes faster, more focused, more precise. Most people never experience this level of growth because they cannot tolerate the invisibility. They need to be seen, to feel acknowledged, to confirm that their effort matters. But that need slows everything down. It splits attention between progress and perception. The man who removes that need becomes different. He continues without recognition. He improves without external signals. He trusts the process because he is the one building it. Over time, this creates a gap that others don't understand. They see the result, but not the phase that built it. And that's where the advantage is, because by the time your growth becomes visible, it is already complete. Number 9, the power reversal. How being alone makes you hard to control. Control never begins where people think it does. It doesn't start with authority, strength, or dominance. It starts much earlier, at the point where something can reach you. If something can reach you, it can influence you. And influence is the first layer of control. Most never see this mechanism clearly. They assume control comes from visible power, from status, from position. But beneath that surface, a simpler structure is always operating. Access creates influence. Influence creates direction. Direction shapes outcomes. That chain is constant. Remove one part of it, and the entire structure collapses. This is where isolation changes everything. When there is no one feeding into your thinking, no presence adjusting your behavior, no external force shaping your decisions, access disappears completely. Nothing is entering. Nothing is interfering. Nothing is altering your direction. That absence is not weakness. It is protection. Niccolo Machiavelli's philosophy revolves around limiting exposure to forces that can redirect you. The less others can reach your internal state, the less they can shape your external actions. That is where resistance is built. Not through effort, through inaccessibility. Once that condition is established, something shifts in how others interact with you. They lose reference points. They cannot identify what influences your decisions. They cannot predict what will move you or stop you. There is no visible pattern to follow, no consistent reaction to rely on. That uncertainty forces hesitation, because without clarity, strategy becomes unstable. Most people rely on patterns to deal with others. They observe, identify behavior, and adjust accordingly. But when no clear pattern exists, that process fails. And when it fails, control disappears with it. The man who operates without external influence becomes difficult to handle, not because he is aggressive or dominant, but because he cannot be mapped. That changes the entire dynamic. Others begin to slow down. They become cautious, more calculated, less certain. Their confidence drops because they cannot position themselves accurately. That hesitation gives you advantage without effort, because while they are trying to understand you, you remain unaffected. Over time, this creates a complete reversal. Instead of being shaped by others, your presence starts shaping the environment around you. Not through force, through absence of access. And once nothing can reach you internally, nothing can control what you do externally. Number 10. The Machiavelli Law. Why absolute power begins when you need no one. Power reaches its highest form the moment dependence disappears. Not reduced, eliminated. Because as long as you need something outside yourself, support, approval, reassurance, alignment, you are connected to it. And anything you are connected to can influence your direction. That connection is the limit. Most men try to build power while still holding on to those connections. They want strength but also comfort, control but also security, independence but still something to fall back on. That contradiction keeps them contained. Niccolo Machiavelli's deeper principle was far more brutal. True authority belongs to the one who stands without reliance, not partially independent, completely detached from anything that can shift his decisions. That level is rare, because it requires removing every external anchor. No emotional dependence, no need for agreement, no requirement for support, nothing that can be used to influence how you move. Once that state is reached, something changes at a fundamental level. Your actions are no longer shaped by fear of loss. Your decisions are no longer adjusted to maintain connections. Your direction is no longer influenced by anything outside your own judgment. That creates absolute clarity, not comfortable clarity, final clarity. Because now, every move is based on outcome, not attachment. Every step is chosen without hesitation, created by external ties. There is no internal conflict between what should be done and what might be lost. That conflict is gone. Most never experience this because they hold on to something. A relationship, a safety net, an identity tied to others. They keep at least one connection that influences their choices. And that single connection is enough to limit them. The man who removes all of it becomes different, not emotionally distant, structurally independent. He does not look outward before acting. He does not measure decisions against approval. He does not adjust based on potential reaction. Everything comes from within. That internal source becomes the only authority. And when that happens, something final occurs. No one can negotiate with your needs. No one can pressure your decisions. No one can redirect your path, because there is nothing they can offer and nothing they can take. That is where absolute power begins. Not in control over others, but in the complete absence of anything controlling you. What you've seen isn't motivation, it's exposure. Exposure of the patterns that keep most people dependent, predictable, and easy to control. And once you recognize those patterns, something shifts whether you like it or not. You start seeing where you were relying, where you were waiting, where you were holding yourself back without even realizing it. That awareness is the turning point. Because from here, you either go back to comfort or you step into control. There's no middle ground. The man who chooses control doesn't wait for support, doesn't look for approval, and doesn't slow down to match others. He moves on his own terms, builds on his own structure, and carries his own weight completely. If this changed how you think, don't let it stay passive. Leave a like so this message reaches others still stuck in dependency. Comment self-made to confirm your transformation and lock this mindset in. Subscribe if you're ready to operate without limits. And share this with someone who still believes they need support to succeed. Stay sharp, stay independent, and make sure your next move comes from you and no one else.